This Steve Jones Show podcast is now loading. The Steve Jones Show podcast is presented by Sunbury Motor Company, Brewers Outlet, and Purdy Insurance. Bringing you an in-depth look at Penn State sports and more. This is the Steve Jones Show on News Radio 1070 WKOK. The Steve Jones Show is presented by Purdy Insurance, Brewers Outlet, and Sunbury Motor Company. Now from the Sunbury Motor Studio, here's Steve Jones.
And the opening half hour brought to you by Purdy Insurance, Market Street in Sunbury. Go to purdyinsurance.com. Auto, home, life, business, boat, motorcycle, RV. Yes. And also Medicare. We're in the open enrollment period right now through December 7th. Steve Engel's the guy to contact there. So make sure you're fully insured. Obviously extremely important. But also they'll do everything they can to save you money. And it is, because customer service means everything to them. It is all at Purdy Insurance, Market Street in Sunbury. Go to purdyinsurance.com. All right. So, the World Series last night. Boyertown, Pottstown, Trey Savage. 12 strikeouts. But what have the Blue Jays been able to do in the last couple of games? And it's interesting. Everyone's compared the 2018 marathon that Max Muncy, when he hit the home run, but they never tell you the rest of the story. That Dodger team then promptly lost the next two games, and the Red Sox won the World Series in Los Angeles. Well, same thing happened again, except because they split in Toronto, they have to go back to Toronto. You look back on the game, the 18-inning game, and I pointed out that manager John Snyder put himself into an offensive box because he changed out his players too soon in Game 3. And so is it any great surprise where the only real bat you have in the lineup for a good chunk of the night is Vladimir Guerrero? Took Barger out. He took Bichette out. He took Kirk out. Springer got hurt, so he can't help that. But he put himself into an offensive box. But let's look at the Dodgers now. Yes, they won Game 3 on the Freddie Freeman walk-off, but they went 10 scoreless innings themselves until they got to that point. So when you look back at the last two games and the last 10 innings of the 18-inning game, the Dodgers aren't hitting. They aren't hitting. Essentially, that's three, because, look, that was 2 games in 1. 3 full games now. The Dodgers have not hit. That's a credit to the pitching by Toronto, their defense as well. Barger made another really nice play in right field last night. And I think that Savage was just fabulous. They just couldn't touch him. 12 strikeouts. And now let's get to the key part. Since I want to say, was it a third inning home run by Vladimir Guerrero off of Shohei Ohtani? Since he hit that home run, Toronto hasn't trailed. And how often have you heard me talk over and over and over again about how important it is to play with the lead? Make them chase you. Yes, the come from behind win is fun, it's dramatic, it's exciting. But in the reality of it, normally the team that gets to the front normally stays to the front. Oh, there may be some back and forth early in a game. Lead changes back and forth. Yeah, I understand that. But the ball game is, I don't care whether it's hockey. We always talk, and I give the hockey guys a lot of credit. They always talk about the importance of first goal. They always talk about that. Basketball playing with the lead, football playing with the lead, baseball playing with the lead, soccer playing with the lead, because normally that's the only time they score. Just kidding. Right. But playing with the lead. Make the other guy chase you. And the Blue Jays have made the Dodgers chase them. Now, Yamamoto goes tomorrow night against Kevin Gausman. To be honest with you, I'm not surprised Gausman's he is the best starter. I mean, Savage has been obviously incredible, but from day one of the season, Gausman's been their best starter. And not really surprised because he is the best pitcher I ever saw take the mound at Medler Field, Lebrano Park. He's pitching for Aberdeen at the time. I remember looking over at Joe Putnam saying, this guy, he was like the 4th overall pick out of LSU. I looked over at Joe Putnam. I said, now that's how a first-round pick pitches. I said, he's got something. And he's been a really, really good pro. Really good pro. So he'll go for Toronto. Yamamoto, in his last 2 games, complete games. These are complete games, mind you. In the final 5 innings of each game. So that's 15 batters that you have 15 outs you have to get. Do you want to know what the hitters are in those 2 games? 0 for 30 with 1 walk. Wow. That is wow. 0 for 30 with 1 walk. In the final 5 innings that he pitched against Milwaukee, getting 15 outs. In the final 5 innings he pitched against Toronto, getting 15 outs. 0 for 30, 1 walk. Wow. That's how good he's been. So credit where credit is due. That's special. That is special. Before I get to the Louisiana governor, I want to say just a few words about Harry Donahue. Harry Donahue, and I know when I get, unfortunately, this has been. I was thinking about this today because, as you know, on the football broadcast, I don't open the game. Roger does. Then we go to a commercial break, and then he introduces each of us. He usually introduces Brian first, Jack second, and I'm introduced last. And unfortunately, I've had to take that opening segment when I'm on, and I've had to talk about, because it's so important to recognize, Ted Beam meant a lot to everybody in what we do upstairs, broadcast booth, going all the way back to being the spotter for Stan Savran and George Paterno, and everything. So when he passed away, I felt, I felt I had to mention it. And then after that, Ron Bracken passed away, who had that remarkable career at the Center Daily Times. And I felt I had to mention that. Then, of course, what happened with James, I had to take the lead and mention that. Well, now Saturday I'm going to mention about Harry. Harry was the play-by-play voice at Temple. I had known Harry Donahue for, golly, I don't know, 35 years? 35 years? I mean, Don Henderson had done it before him, and I thought the world of Don Henderson. He was such a great guy. But Harry, doing football, doing basketball with John Baum, great announcer, great voice, great guy. He passed away at 77 and did that golf show down in Philadelphia for years. So, 77. But terrific. I mean, he was at Temple. He was just an incredible voice. And he's going to be missed. I mean, I thought Harry was just I already knew he was a great announcer. That part. But as a guy, absolutely great guy. Yeah, he was a Philadelphia sports legend. I mean, there's no question about that. But but you get to know people as people. He's a great, great guy. Great guy. So just 77. Okay. All right. So we'll take a break. We'll talk about the governor getting involved in Louisiana in a moment. Brought to you by Purdy Insurance on News Radio 1070 WKOK.
Party time, game time, or just fun time. Doesn't matter what time it is because it's Brewers Outlet time. The Beverage Supermarket has the area's largest beer selection. Imports, microbrews, ciders, and domestics. Pick from over 100 ice-cold 12-packs and dozens of 24-ounce singles. Soda, snacks, hot sauces, fresh roasted peanuts. Make it one-stop party shopping, and don't forget the pickle bar. So whatever you're celebrating or just doing it up, Brewers Outlet, Reagan Street, Sunbury wants to see you. And thank you for your years of patronage.
Central Penn Bank and Trust, like an old friend down the road. Central Penn Bank and Trust, we're the friendly faces you know, yeah. Big enough to help, small enough to care, there when you need us. Bridging communities, building your future. Central Penn Bank and Trust, 'cause you know we're stronger together. Central Penn Bank and Trust, make your future better than ever. Big enough to help, small enough to care, there when you need us. Bridging communities, building your future. Bridging communities, building your future. Central Penn Bank and Trust, build your future with us.
Bring them all, your friends, your family, neighbors, to Cole's Stony Hill Tree Farm and see if you can find your way through the maze. Spend a beautiful fall day or evening exploring over 3.6 acres of trails through the maze and play over 50 outdoor yard games. Cole's Corn Maze is one of Central Pennsylvania's favorite fun family and fall activities. Cole's Stony Hill Tree Farm on Mexico Road, 3 miles from Washingtonville, and at colesstonyhill.com.
Terrified by your old ride?
No!
Don't fear. If you want to have a fun day, you have to drive a Hyundai from Sunbury Motors Hyundai. Sunbury Motors Hyundai has 34 2025 vehicles in stock that need to move. There's 17 2025 Hyundai Tucsons in stock with discounts up to $5,250 or 1.99% financing for 60 months. And they start at just $26,455. Get an all-wheel drive 2025 Hyundai Santa Cruz for under 40 grand with 3.99% APR financing for 48 months or take 5 grand off. SMC has 1.99% APR for 60 months on all 2025 Sonatas, gas or hybrid, or take an additional $5,500 off with prices starting at $24,200. Plus, right now, take an additional $250 off when you come in and mention this ad. Sunbury Motors Hyundai in the North 4th Street Auto Plaza, Sunbury. See dealer for more details.
Well, the governor of Louisiana, Jeff Landry, has made it very plain. He doesn't want Scott Woodward making the decision all by himself as to who the new LSU football coach should be. So, I'm a big believer, as you know, of staying in your lane. Doesn't mean we all can't have opinions about things that are outside our lane. We all do, all the time. That's perfectly fine. Opinions are great. Love hearing all the opinions. And LSU's in a very interesting spot because they have an interim president right now. So that does play a role in this. I don't know what it's called, their Board of Trustees, Board of Regents, whatever, but we'll call it the Board of Trustees for the sake of argument. And so when Brian Kelly was let go, or they're in the process of letting him go, they did, I believe they had to because of the size of the buyout. I believe they had to consult the governor, and they did. Now, I do not know whether the governor was asked the question or if he just volunteered the answer. So that I'm trying to be fair here. But to come on and actually say the athletic director should have nothing to do with it, if he strongly believes in having a committee do it, that's perfectly fine. Okay, a lot of people have committees doing it, and they have search firms that they get involved with and so forth. That part I get. But just like I would not expect Scott Woodward, and I don't know Scott Woodward at all, please, not at all. I don't expect Scott Woodward to be able to construct a state budget. I don't expect Scott Woodward to call FEMA when New Orleans gets hit by a tropical storm or a hurricane. I don't expect Scott Woodward to have to come up with road construction projects for the Department of Transportation, things like that. Okay, because for the governor, that's his area of expertise. That's his area of expertise. Now, if we don't like how he's handling his, quote, area of expertise, we have an election. We can vote pro or con, up or down. Right? Allegedly, the athletic director has a semblance of expertise when it comes to sports. Okay. That's why I talk about staying in your lane. Again, he may have been asked. But I just sit there and go, it's not the best look you can ask for here. But I saw that one. Yikes. Right. Remember when we had Governor Shapiro on the show? Okay. I talked to him about sports, the impact of sports, the impact on sports on the economy of Pennsylvania, the impact of sports on the youth. He's coached his children in youth programs. I coached mine. I did my coaching for 14 years. And it's not just the coaching my children, it's coaching a lot of other children as well, which he's done. So we were talking as two people that love sports. We were talking about parent to parent. That's why it was such an easy conversation. But in other words, I tried to keep the conversation in my lane. Right? You know, we didn't get into the politics of it. So that's why it's like, see Governor Landry down there, like, okay. I mean, I don't live in Louisiana, so I don't know. Like, I wouldn't expect Kellen Moore, the head coach of the Saints, to suddenly tell the state of Louisiana how to do the budget. It's not really his lane. Sure is interesting, though. Welcome to the South. That's why I think that whomever they get down there has to be somebody that understands the SEC culture. I think that's going to be very important. That's going to be very important. We have Paul Keels on the show today. Talking about two guys who are going to stay in their lane. It's going to be Paul and I talking about Penn State, Ohio State. We're going to do that later in the show as well. So, I think we have Paul at 2 o'clock. I think.
I have 2:30, Steve.
Rob, thanks for helping me out on that, because I don't think I ever received a confirmation. Whenever I need help, my right arm reaches out and says, hey, Steve. Thanks, Rob.
It's like you tapped me on the shoulder.
Feel like Dave Roberts going to the pen last night.
Shopping for Medicare coverage? With Geisinger Gold Medicare Advantage, you've got connections. With guidance from licensed local Medicare advisors who know your community. Experience the difference of a partner truly committed to your health, built on a 100-plus year tradition of compassionate care. Discover the peace of mind knowing you're connected to the health care you deserve with Geisinger Gold. Call 866-460-8420 today. That's 866-460-8420.
Get ready, Susquehanna Valley. It's game day energy at WNL Nissan's Heisman House. Join us Saturday, November 8th from 9 a.m. till noon in Shamokin Dam for your chance to see the 2025 Heisman Trophy up close and snap a photo with college football history. It's a free community event. There'll be games and prizes for kids, field goal competitions, food and drink vendors, and live radio giveaways, plus a college game day style set loaded with tailgate excitement. WNL Nissan, where community and college football collide.
CBS News Brief. Day 30 of the government shutdown, and more states are shouldering the responsibility of providing food assistance. Maryland Governor Wes Moore.
And immediately use my emergency authority as governor to surge $10 million to food banks and to food bank partners all across the state of Maryland.
President Trump is returning from Asia with what he says is a possible trade agreement with China. CBS's Ed O'Keefe.
What the president says happened versus what the Chinese said happened versus what actually happened is to be determined in the days to come.
The president has also floated restarting nuclear testing. CBS's Charlie D'Agata with Russia's response.
The Kremlin has come in and said, well, there has been a moratorium, an international moratorium on testing of nuclear weapons, so they're going to have to review their own nuclear testing if the United States is indeed about to start testing nuclear weapons again.
Stocks are mixed. CBS News Brief, I'm Cammie McCormick.
Fetters Jewelers invites you to their semi-retirement sale, which means huge savings of 30% off all in-stock gold and silver merchandise. Right now, save on diamond and gemstone pendants, wedding bands, engagement rings, fancy diamond and gemstone rings, diamond studs, diamond hoops, watches, birthstone rings, pendants and earrings, and a whole lot more, and all at 30% off. And at Fetters Jewelers, their diamonds are all natural. Hurry in to Fetters Jewelers on Front Street in Milton now. Open Tuesday and Thursday 9:30 till 5, Friday 9:30 till 6, and Saturday 9:30 till noon.
Wall Walters out here in Beaver Springs with a secret to customer loyalty.
Yep.
Did you ever notice that some people always buy their new cars from the same dealership every time they upgrade?
Yep.
Beaver Motors sees it all the time. Customer loyalty is a big deal at Beaver Motors, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram Truck.
Yep.
You see, the secret to customer loyalty is in customer service. Treat people right and they'll come back. And I don't just mean low prices and incentives. I mean quality automobiles and service after the sale. I'm talking oil changes and inspections. I'm talking about loaner vehicles and a knowledgeable staff that goes above and beyond to keep you on the road and moving.
Yep.
That, my friends, is how you build customer loyalty.
Yep.
If you want a dealership like that, one that treats you like family and truly cares about your busy life, check out Beaver Motors between Selinsgrove and Lewistown on Route 522 in Beaver Springs, or online at www.beavermotors.net.
Find what you love and love what you find at Total Wine and More. There's so much waiting for you.
With the lowest prices for over 30 years, find what you love only at Total Wine & More. Drink responsibly, B21.
Check engine or ABS light on? Take the guesswork out of your warning lights with O'Reilly Veriscan. It's free. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Sponsored by Progressive. We make the claims process easy, so you can get back on the road in no time. It's why over 43 million drivers trust Progressive. See for yourself at Progressive.com.
Bringing you an in-depth look at Penn State sports and more. This is the Steve Jones Show on News Radio 1070 WKOK. The Steve Jones Show is presented by Sunbury Motor Company, Purdy Insurance, and Brewers Outlet. Now, from the Sunbury Motors studio, here's Steve Jones.
Half hour brought to you by our good friends at Sunbury Motors, 4th Street in Sunbury, Sunbury Motors Kia, routes 11 and 15 in Hummel's Wharf, and online at sunburymotors.com. Ford, Kia, Hyundai, the best in new inventory. Great pre-owned inventory with the all-important Sunbury Motors guarantee. Look, I mean, I want to go someplace where they don't just throw the thing on the lot, make sure it's okay. I want to make sure they go over every inch of it. And they do that at Sunbury Motors. What a difference it makes. And the service department, which is terrific. Quick lane inspections, routine, difficult, all at Sunbury Motors, 4th Street in Sunbury. Sunbury Motors Kia, routes 11 and 15, Hummel's Wharf, and online at sunburymotors.com. Playoff time. And Dave Ritchie and I get to talk about playoffs. Playoffs?
Yeah, that's right. It's that time of the year again.
Yeah, and so I want to start with this. We knew the stretch run, Dave, was going to be, just based on who they were going to play, could be potentially problematic for Shikellamy. Yet, I felt like, from afar, because obviously I wasn't there, it just seemed like they were ultra competitive in all these games, where maybe in the past couple of years they may not be. Is that a fair assessment?
That's a real good assessment, Steve. I thought we played to the best that we could, and we made a couple of mistakes, and that's why we lost a couple of games that we could have won. With the Southern Columbia game, the Southern Columbia, they're a team that Jim Roth does a great job of. They just get better as the year goes along, game after game, and they seem to peak when it comes to this time of the year, the last game of the season, and also with the playoffs coming up. But I think our kids are playing at a much higher level than they ever have before.
Why is that, Dave? I mean, I know talent makes a big difference, so I've got that part. But why? What are a couple of intangibles I think you think makes a difference with them?
Well, I think the whole attitude of the team, but the coaching staff has done a lot. They really have. I think we've got some really solid coaches. I mean, starting with Mike Hoover at the head coach. They talk about somebody being the player's coach. Well, Mike is, but Mike also understands what it takes to be successful. And Mike never had what I would call an easy way of getting into the high school program when he played, or even basketball. And he understands the kids a lot better. And I think there's a lot of youth there coaching, but there's also some guys that have been there that have been veterans. And I think the combination of both of those have made our kids, number one, they become better players. And number two, they believe in themselves. And I think that's so important, that you don't measure an opponent by their record. You measure an opponent by how you play that night on the field. And our kids have felt confident when they went out each night that they could stay with the teams they were playing.
Okay, so Dave, in big games, I always feel like there's a play in each. I'm talking about close games. There's usually a key play in each half that if you win that play, it goes a long way to winning the game, each half. Have you always felt that way about that, or is it a little bit different thought process by you?
No, even more this year, Steve. I would have to agree with you 100%. There seems to be one play in the game against Bloomsburg. There seems to be one play in the game against Danville that basically turned what I would have called a victory into losing. And I know that's a tough way of putting it, but you're absolutely right. And in the Southern game on this past Friday night, we hung with them. We played very well. I think it was 28-21 at the halftime. Southern was ahead, and we got the ball to start the third quarter. But Southern, the first time we had the ball, they held us to 3 downs. We punted, and the punt was blocked, and the kid took it in for a touchdown, and that was pretty decimating. I mean, that made it 35-21 just into the third quarter. So I would agree with 100% about that. When you think back about the games we've played, there always seems to be one turning point in the game, and it seems to be one very crucial play.
All right, so now let's get to the Shamokin part of it. They've had a really good year. I mean, they've been challenged at times, but they keep passing each test. What has made them a good team?
Well, they have first of all, we got to go with Logan Steele, their quarterback. I mean, he's a solid kid. He's, with the pros now, they go with a quarterback that not only can throw the ball and hand the ball off, but they can run. And when they run, they make people miss. Well, Logan Steele's that to a T, 100%. But they have the Clinton, their halfback, or I call him a fullback. Big kid, can run hard. If you don't tackle him solid, he's going to pick up an extra 3 or 4 yards. And plus, if he gets away from you, he's going to end up going the distance. And they also have another, so they stop giving the ball to Clinton. They give this ball to, I believe his name is Gink. He's a halfback. He's got a lot of speed. And somebody who I think is under the radar is a young man by the name of Colin Steinhardt. He's their kicker, but he's also one of the wide receivers. And against us the last time, he had an interception that went for a touchdown, and he also had quite a few receptions. They're just basically solid at the skill positions, and then you got to go along with their offense and defensive lines. These kids are experienced, and they're solid. I mean, Mark Persing, he's got things going out there, and I'm kind of envious because right now Shamokin is, I would say, would become one of the premier teams, if not the best team in the Intersite area.
All right, but I think it was Mount Carmel's their last game, right?
It was amazing how if you ever get a chance to just watch the last 2 minutes of that game, it's unbelievable.
Well, my point is they got pushed. Okay?
Yes, they did.
Now, push means two things. A, you figured out a way to win, but why were you pushed? So why were they pushed?
First of all, Mount Carmel has improved immensely since the first couple of games of the season. If I'm not mistaken, I think they've changed their offense a little bit. They've done a nice job. They went back to what I call the Mount Carmel basics. Mount Carmel always had like a student body right, a student body left, but they also had some misdirection, and they've been very successful with that. And they came into that game thinking that they could stay with Shamokin, and that's why they got pushed. And Southern got pushed by us on Friday night until they woke up. It's like I think Kevin said they poked the bear, and all of a sudden they realized we've got to give this a little extra effort. Well, with Mount Carmel, it wasn't until the very last minute of the game that the bear woke up with Shamokin, and with a little bit of luck, they pulled that win out.
All right, so let's talk about matchups. Give me a couple matchups that if Shikellamy can win the matchup, it goes a long way to winning the game.
Well, first of all, let's start with our defense. They have to. There's two things they have to do, Steve. Number one, they've got to contain Logan Steele, the quarterback, and that's been something that they've struggled with all year long. The second thing is they're going to have to stop Clinton, because about the time that you're trying to contain Logan Steele with either his passing ability, his ability to escape and get and run the ball, they give the ball just straight ahead to Clinton, and he's just a bull. That's the first thing they have to do. The other thing they have to do, and I know we're probably not going to be able to run the ball against them because we're decimated as far as running backs, and we haven't been able to do that much this year. But the second thing is the offensive line has to be strong enough to give Brody Raybuck enough time to just even make the short passes, Steve. I'm not talking about trying to get it over top of the defense, but just making the outs. And that's what he did so successfully against Southern, and that gave Southern fits. And for some reason, we went away for that, and it kind of changed the whole aspect of the game with Southern. But they're the things that Shikellamy has to do, and I'm hoping they come into the game with the case that, hey, this isn't our last game. I'm going to start basketball. I'm going to start wrestling. This is a game that we're going to try to give Shamokin the best we got, and maybe we can pull what everybody in the area would call the biggest upset of the year.
Well, okay. How exciting is it from your point of view that you're going to go into tomorrow night's game, you're going to announce something where you feel like the team you're broadcasting for really has a puncher's chance?
I love the fact that every game that we have done this year, that I feel our kids have the capability of pulling off a victory. I really enjoy that because it's been a long time since Kevin and I have been able to broadcast a game where we come in optimistic. All right, yes. And that's something I think that's important. Our fans come in optimistic, and until something happens, like you said, one play or another that throws that optimism out the window, it's always a great job to be able to talk about them and to be able to see. I see a lot. I mean, we're gonna miss some seniors next year, but our program is solid right now, all the way down through, and I think that's something that the whole Shikellamy football community, all right, has seen and has been supportive.
Dave, should be a great broadcast coming up tomorrow night. I'm excited for you. It's going to be a lot of fun. And again, I look at this and I say to myself, you know what? The way they played this year, these kids have a puncher's chance. Hey, get to the fourth quarter, see what you got.
They do. I agree with you 100%, Steve. Thank you.
Thanks, Dave. Congrats on a great season. Appreciate everything you've given us.
All right. You're welcome. And hey, good luck at Ohio State tomorrow. I think Penn State's in the same boat that Shikelamy's in right now.
Well, it's not as if Penn State's untalented. So, yes, they've got more than a puncher's chance. But you got to play. Yeah. You got to play.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
You're right.
Yep. Thanks, Dave.
Thank you, Steve. Take care.
Okay.
Now.
You bet. Other games coming up tomorrow. So the other half of the bracket in the semifinal in Quad A will be Athens at Jersey Shore. And then Shikellamy, of course, is at Shamokin. The AAA semifinals tomorrow will be Danville, number 4 seed, at Mifflinburg. They're the number 1 seed. Then the aforementioned Mount Carmel, which played so well against Shamokin last week, will be at the number 2 seed, Montoursville. AA, these are quarterfinal games. Kalmanesky Valley at Southern Columbia, 8-1. The 4-5 game is the number 5 Loyal Socket, number 4 Bloomsburg. South Williamsport's the 7th seed there at Warrior Run, the number 2. And I'm sure Doug will be there. Pom-poms flying as the number 6 seed Wellsboro hits the road to take on the number 3 seed Troy. Also in the Class A semifinals, the number 3 seed Muncie will be at the number 2 seed Montgomery. Okay. And don't forget that the Shikellamy Shamokin game will be on News Radio 1070 WKOK and streaming on the SBC, iHeartRadio, Odyssey, and TuneIn radio apps and Amazon Alexa. I'm worried we don't have enough outlets. Here on News Radio 1070 WKOK.
Hi, this is Season. For over 100 years, the Purdy Insurance Agency has been protecting families and businesses of the greater Susquehanna Valley and beyond. With the experience of our trained and knowledgeable staff, you can rest assured that your needs will be evaluated and met by some of the industry's best representatives. No matter what your insurance needs are, call Purdy Insurance today at 570-286-5855. Visit our website at purdyinsurance.com or check us out on Facebook to see what we can do for you.
I had to do something when my headaches were making my entire life a headache. My PCP was so good about it. We talked about my routines, like all the coffee I'm drinking and all the sleeping I'm not doing. We ruled some things out, and I made some changes. So far, fewer headaches. So good. My PCP specializes in me.
Find a PCP near you and connect to a network of nationally recognized care at upmc.com/PCP.
Gonna drive away smiling with Zimmerman Motors. Grandpa said it when your daddy was small. For 5 generations, ooh, you've just about heard it all.
Hey, it's Gabe at Zimmerman Motors. It's a spooky time of year as we get ready for the autumn season, and there's no better place to do that than at Zimmerman Motors. That's right, the Jeep capital of Central PA has you covered. We have a huge selection of new and certified pre-owned Jeeps, with more arriving every day. Looking for a full-size pickup? You know there is no better option than a Ram truck, Hemi-Power match with a certified warranty up to 100,000 miles. There's no better 1-2 punch. Plus, with our used car inventory, we always have a selection of vehicles under $300 per month. Come see me, Gabe, at Zimmerman Motors. I make car buying easy.
Year after year, mile after mile, Zimmerman Motors brings on the smile. You're gonna drive away smiling, Zimmerman Motors.
In today's digital world, you can't afford to be lagging behind on all the latest details. Hi, Kim Commando here. Join me for the Kim Commando Show on News Radio 1070 WKOK, and you'll be in the know about everything digital. I'm here every Saturday from 10 till 1. It's just me, you, and the newest digital details every weekend. Be part of the largest nationally syndicated weekend show, the Kim Commando Show, Saturdays from 10 till 1, right here on News Radio 1070 WKOK.
The Mahindra 1100 and 2100 compact tractors are tougher and smarter than anything else out there with reliable diesel power, our best ever lift capacity, easy to use dual pedal HST, and built-in tech like crank assist, a push-button PTO, and a handy companion app. This fall, Mahindra is out working in the field and cleaning up around the yard.
This fall, get the Mahindra 1120 with loader for a cash price of $15,100 or $218 per month at 0% for 84 months at Haley Ridge Sales and Service in Mount Pleasant Mills and Danville.
All right. Welcome back. Hey, interesting situation out at UCLA. As you know, they play their games, and Penn State, of course, was just out there earlier in the month at the Rose Bowl. And they have a lease with the Rose Bowl that runs through 2044. Evidently, UCLA is trying to work something out to see if they can move their games to SoFi Stadium where the Rams and Chargers play down in Inglewood. Now, is it a little bit closer? Yeah. I mean, because the Rose Bowl's 26 miles away from Westwood, okay, which is the home of the UCLA campus. And it would be a little closer. But the problem is the 26 miles. There's no question about it. Now. It's iconic. We were there on a crystal clear, beautiful day. I mean, the San Gabriels, the whole deal was awesome. I mean, I've done 4 games in that stadium. It is just now a regular season game is an absolutely different feel than the Rose Bowl itself. I can tell you that. But the city of Pasadena and the Rose Bowl are filing a lawsuit. They say the lawsuit arises in an era when money too often eclipses meaning and the pursuit of profit threatens to erase the very traditions that breathe life into institutions. Some commitments are too fundamental to be traded away. Earlier this season, of course, you know, they've been playing at the Rose Bowl. They say that UCLA's outside counsel, David Schrader, sent a letter to Pasadena attorney Mima Mehebi in March saying the school's efforts to conduct preliminary discussions about relocating games did not constitute a material breach of its contract. But Pasadena officials and stadium representatives, Rose Bowl, claim a potential move could cost Pasadena and its residents more than $1 billion in damages. City officials said in a suit that taxpayers have funded more than $150 million in renovations, and they've done a nice job with it, by the way, with an additional $130 million in bonds that were recently refinanced for additional upgrades. And, of course, it's been designated as a National Historic Landmark. The Bruins have played in the Rose Bowl since leaving the L.A. Coliseum in 1982, so they've been there for 43 years. Okay, so there you are. I would say SoFi. I'm trying to think how much closer it is. I think it's still like instead of 26 miles, it's like maybe 15 to 17 miles from campus. I'm like something like that. It's not. I mean, Westwood's tucked in behind Beverly Hills. And the SoFi is down in Inglewood. I've been to SoFi. So, yeah, it's not like I haven't seen it because I do. They practiced in there. And if I think it was the it was the Rams. Rams played the 49ers on a Thursday night. Penn State would have practiced in there this time, except the turnover from the stadium. That's why I ended up going over to El Camino Junior College to practice this time. But yeah, UCLA's averaging 35,000 per game in the Rose Bowl this year. The Penn State game drew 39,000. Just so you know. Okay. So, yeah, they're exploring. In other words, they're exploring SoFi, but they still have that lease runs out in 2044. I mean, I don't know what the lease says. I'm not going to pretend I know what the lease says, but to me, normally you sign a lease, you fulfill it. I'm from a simple neighborhood. I don't know. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. So, I'll say this. SoFi is a beautiful stadium. You do get a lot for your $5 billion. Although it was interesting when I was in there, I think that they have. Now, it's not completely enclosed. There's openings in SoFi. That's why when the national championship game was played between TCU and Georgia, it was raining and the one end zone was all wet because the rain kept coming in because it's open at that end. Well, it's interesting when you look at it. I remember Dr. Sebastianelli and I were standing on the 20-yard line. And I looked up and I said, And when you see the beams that have the roof in place, there's discoloration of some sort on the roof with the beams. I don't know if it's rust or whatever it happens to be, whatever. I was surprised by that. And the other part I was surprised by, I said, Wayne, check that out. I said, does that look like a hole? And he looks at me and goes, yeah, it is a hole. There's a hole in the roof. Like on $5 billion, you got a hole in the roof? I mean, wait, come on. It wasn't big, but it was there. I'm like standing there like going, okay. It's different. All right. We've got Paul Keels at 2:35 because Rob did a great job of making sure I knew that. So we'll talk about Ohio State, which is, look, there may be a changeover in talent here and there, but they've just kept going. There's been nothing. They play at a high level. There's nothing incredibly remarkable about them. They just play at a high level. Downs is a heck of a player. Smith is a heck of a player. Tate, the other receiver. He'd be a number one receiver for anybody. Quarterbacks play well. He's been accurate. Guy that's been waiting in the wings, Caden Curry, because he was behind Jack Sawyer and JT Tuileumalo. Now gets his opportunity. He's got 7 sacks. I mean, people don't move the ball on them. They're really good. But we'll see, and we'll get Paul's perspective on it at 2:35. And then as part of the announcer exchange program, I'm on their pregame show Saturday. This half hour brought to you by our good friends at Sunbury Motors, 4th Street in Sunbury. Sunbury Motors Kia, routes 11 and 15 in Hummels Wharf, and online at sunburymotors.com. Here on News Radio 1070 WKOK.